Hey guys, what's up? Today I want to show you how I make VHS videos in 2025 using only an iPhone. I make music as Sun Cut Flat, and today I'm going to go through how I made a recent music video, going step by step to show you guys the process. Now you may say, why make a music video on VHS in 2025 when we can have easy access to reels creating right on the iPhone, right on your computer? Why use a limited format like VHS that has graininess and distortion and sounds horrible? Well, to that, I would say, one, it gives a physical medium that you can provide to your fans if you have a band or you're an artist releasing music that's beyond just a YouTube video. I like this idea because it shows right next to my vinyls, right next to my cassettes or t-shirts, hoodies, you can have a VHS. And a lot of VHS you can put up to like 90 minutes, 130 minutes. I grew up making VHSs with my family. That's part of why my music project is called Family Tapes. I thought it was a cool name. But going forward, I just figured, why not try to make some music videos in 2025 on VHS? I know there's filters on Instagram and they look cool. Don't get me wrong. I use them all the time. But sometimes it's nice to really get something that's going to be able to, you can hold in your hand and the lighting changes. It's just fun to play with. So I'll just get into it. I'm going to keep it brief. But first, I got to show you guys what you're going to need to make music videos on VHS in 2025. So the first thing you're going to need, of course, is a smartphone. It doesn't have to be an iPhone. It can be any kind of phone that just records video. It's going to be just like when you record regular reels or any music content. Just get a vertical reel or horizontal. It could be either way. Second thing you're going to need is a VCR. Mine is a Sharp VCA 400. I got it for about $75 off Craigslist. In your town or in your city, I'm sure there's some folks that are just looking to get rid of some stuff. And I'm sure they'll be happy to get this out their basement or their attic, especially if you tell them what you're using it for and that you're doing some creative stuff with it. So make sure you pick up a VCR, ideally that has multiple speeds so you could do slow-mo. But if not, that's fine. Just as long as you can rewind, record, play back, and pause. All right? You are going to need a computer. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, a MacBook or anything modern. It can literally be an old PC laptop that you had from school or work. And all it needs to be able to do is connect to USB. So it has to have a USB port, or you can have a converter for it. And it also has to be able to host OBS. OBS is the software that we're going to use, and we're going to need to download that from the internet if you don't have OBS on your computer. OBS is free. It's an open source software. Make sure you guys have a computer because it's going to come in handy when we're going between the iPhone and the VHS. And we're going to be editing the final video back on the iPhone. So the computer is going to be helpful just as a gateway between the three. The next thing that is very helpful, but not 100% necessary, is a VCR television. With the VCR TV, you'll be able to monitor the video as it's going in from your iPhone into a computer and then through into the VCR. You can do it with just a VCR without this TV, but this is really helpful. I had to pick this up because I found it just made the workflow a lot easier, but you don't need it. You could do it without it. By the way, this was completely free. I live in Brooklyn, New York, where people put a lot of stuff out for trash, but this was perfectly good just out on the curb. But I'm sure you could find this at your local thrift store for like maybe $25. On the front of it, make sure it has VCR in for audio and video. That's important. You can also play old school retro video games on it too, which is hella fun. And you can make reels of that too. But anyways, the next thing you're definitely going to need is VHS tapes. I found these in a local corner store by my house for like $2. But you may have some old ones in the attic, in your apartment or your house, maybe in some boxes. But definitely you can find them on Amazon, eBay as well. I think now is a good time to stock up on them because a lot of people seem to be getting back into VHS, cassette, and tape in general. So yeah, I just have about 5 or 6 that I record over and cycle because once you get it onto the tape, you can digitize it back to digital and then you can reuse the tape several times until it wears out. And sometimes wearing out even makes it cooler with the video effect and the audio. The next thing that you're going to need is an HDMI to AV switch. You could get this at your local electronics store. You could order it from B&H. I got it from a woman off Craigslist who was very generous to help me get into the VHS game in 2025. And just make sure that you also have a micro USB. Usually it will come with a micro USB charger, but this is a powered device. So it has an HDMI jack on the front. The side. It has a couple different settings, NTSC and PAL. It has the power. And on the other end, it has analog, video, audio, similar to what you would see on an N64 or a Sega Dreamcast or any of that good stuff. The next thing we're going to need is this device right here. It's called a RedGo AV to USB converter. You're also going to need just a regular RCA cable to attach to it, probably to extend it. You actually don't need to extend it, but it just makes your workflow easier. I'll show you in a minute. But basically, this item is going to allow us to switch easily between digital and between AV, similar to the other item, but they're used for two different things. I also picked this up off Craigslist, but retails for, I believe, about $50. I am going to put it in the description. Definitely can't forget our HDMI cable. Make sure you have an HDMI cable. And also, if your computer doesn't have an HDMI port on it, you're going to need a converter. The last thing that I would recommend would be an iPhone clip stand. If you're going to be filming yourself with the iPhones, if you have a friend that's willing to film for you, your content with the iPhone, holding it and zooming, that's even better. But for me right now, it's just me. I'm rocking solo. So I got this and I got a tripod. A nice little tripod off Amazon. You could get it for as little as $20 and just clip that iPhone clip onto the top of it so that you can shoot your content. This is a lot of gear and it is an investment. I do want to acknowledge that. You could do what I'm doing with just an iPhone, and it's more about the music that you're making. It's more about, the passion behind it. So again, if you need to save up over time and get some of these items, I get that. That's what I did. I'm turning 36 years old this year, and I've been building the gear you see behind me for years and years and years of working full time, trading stuff. So I know how it is, but I'm going to put the links to these items in the description. And when you add it up, it's actually not that much compared to what you would pay to somebody to make a video for you. This is a really great way to build skills and also come away with some dope content and pretty much just get better in every aspect of music and digital audio creation. So let's go start shooting content, and I'm going to make a little music video for some music we did recently, and I'm going to show you guys how to make it into a VHS video. Let's get it.
I'd reset my life for you. Do things you like to do. Go out every night with you. Step into this light with you. Set my life for you. Things you like to do. So we go crazy. Say loud, 'cause you're my baby. Right inside, just a little bit older. More wise, put your head on my shoulder. Just as we all feeling wasn't real, but it was something that got spent. So the money came and went.
We are back in the lab. I just threw my jacket on and went out into the hallway to just shoot some little stuff for a tune called Reset My Life that I made last year with the Juno 106 that's behind me and some drum machines. But anyways, it's time to get this bad boy onto VHS. And then we're going to cut a little music video using the iPhone, which we shot it on. So let's see how it comes out. So the first step is to get that video off my iPhone onto my computer. We can do that in a couple different ways. I'm going to airdrop it to my computer. You can also use Google Drive, Dropbox. Just upload it somewhere, grab it with your computer, and save it as a file. It's probably going to be a .mov file if you're using an iPhone, which is fine because we're going to be able to deal with that later. Checking it out right now. It looks pretty cool. Just pretty much like an iPhone video taken in a hallway of me lip syncing, which is what it is. But let's get this on to VHS. We now have the TV acting as a monitor for the computer. We are using the HDMI to AV converter earlier that I told y'all about. It has a micro USB attached to it. Earlier when I showed it to y'all, it was the wrong power cable. This white one is a micro USB. I had picked up a larger brick thing that wasn't the right one, but I had the micro USB stashed away. Anyways, HDMI is going out into the laptop using a converter because my laptop doesn't have an HDMI port, but a lot of laptops do have HDMI ports, especially older ones. And this is basically now a monitor. So I can drag my video. I'm just in QuickTime. I can drag it right over to this analog TV. That's just a QuickTime window. I can make sure it's full screen. So we're still looking at a digital picture, and I know it's not going to show up on YouTube on your end because it's kind of wavy. There's a phenomenon for that. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's going to show up properly when we get it back into the computer. So I just got to pop in a VHS tape here and record straight from the movie that's playing on the computer. So right now, again, we're playing from the computer. It's coming through the television as an analog signal because it's being converted by this box. So let's make sure we get this onto VHS. I also want to say you could use just directly to the VCR without using the television on this step. The only problem is you wouldn't be able to monitor it in real time, and I wanted to make sure everything looks good. So that's why I'm using this television to actually make the dub of the tape. So let's try it. There we go. That doesn't sound too good. Let's see. Well, that's fine. Like the Notorious B.I.G. said, I let my tape rock until my tape popped. Maybe that's what I did today without the bamboo and private stock. All right. I'm just going to turn it manually a little bit because it rewound a little bit too far back. There we go. Yep. That should be good. All right, so now we are going to pop the tape into the VCR player because the television VCR doesn't have an out. It only has ins. So we are going to use the RedGo USB converter to get the signal from the VCR into the computer. And that's going to take our analog tape and turn it digital so that we can work in the computer and on the cell phone eventually. One thing to note is we have to download OBS. OBS is a free software, and we're going to use that to host the video and export it as MP4. So real quick, let's go Google, download OBS, and download that bad boy, and then we'll be good. All right, so we're in OBS now. We are going to add a video capture device. You can just keep it called video capture device, and then we're going to select AV to USB 2.0 because that is this RedGo thing. Here it is. that's plugged into the USB. Allow. Okay. This blue right here is the feed from our VCR. So we're going to want to make sure we get that as wide as possible. There is going to be a gap, but we're going to fix that as much as we can. But for now, I just want to see what it looks like. Additionally, we are going to add an audio input capture and also link it to the AV to USB device. Then we're going to mute the audio from our Mac mic. And there's lots of videos on how to use OBS if you guys want to check those out. I'm not going to get too much into it on this video, but we are now good to pop in a VCR and see what the video looks like. I'm going to hit play. And there we go. That's me. So I got to make sure I start recording in OBS. I am going to just rewind this. And that was a vertical video, so that's why it's sideways there. Like I said before, you guys can make vertical VHSs for Instagram or whatever you want to use it for. And you can also make horizontal stuff for YouTube. So I'm just fast forwarding. There we go. I'm going to start recording now. I know there's some glare on the screen, but you should be able to see it in a minute. There we go. So yeah, I did a couple takes before I got one that I like. But we're just digitizing this tape that started out as an iPhone video. And pretty soon it's going to be back into the computer where we can edit it. And once I get it all edited down with the music, I can put it back on VHS if I like and sell it at a merge table or whatever. But right now it's going back into the computer as a tape. So it looks very different than it did on the iPhone. And I'm going to show you guys what that looks like in a minute. But it has some cool wobble. The light looks really cool from the exit sign, I think. I really like that about it. And it just actually looks way more legit to me. But we'll see. I'm going to show y'all and see what y'all think. One thing to remember too is if you have like different scenes or different clips that you shot, it's smart to stop the recording in OBS when it switches over to that. Because right now all the takes are just in bulk on the VHS tape. So you're going to want to end up with like 4 different files, 4 different MP4 files if you had like 4 different scenes or 4 different takes. In this case, I was just in the hallway, but I did do 3 different vibes. I did one basically where I was singing, one where I was pretending to play a keyboard that I was holding, the micro cork, and then one where I was like moving the camera around with the tripod. So I'm going to want to make sure those are on like 3 different MP4 files. And I do that by just hitting stop recording, start recording in OBS when I want to divide it up. And remember, I am capturing the audio on this at a low volume just because I want to know where I am in the song. But I can kind of tell that by the lip sync for the most part. But in the end, I'm obviously going to throw in the master recording of the song. When I was performing this or whatever, I was just playing it off Spotify from my laptop speakers so I would know where I was at. But y'all already know that type stuff. This is more technical on the VHS side. When you finish tracking your video into OBS, just go up here to where it says File, hit Show Recordings. If you're on a recent version of OBS, it's real easy. And there they are. Those are my 3 different clips. All right, so now that this tape is in the computer, we got to talk about how we're going to edit this music video. There's a couple ways you can do it. Because I want to keep this basically focused on the iPhone where we shot the video, I'm going to tell you guys what I do a lot is just put this VHS onto Google Drive, the 3 files that I have of the 3 different vibes, download it to my cell phone, and literally just cut it in CapCut or IG Reels, or literally edit it in Instagram or wherever you want to post it. You can do that literally on your iPhone, put the music behind it, call it a day. Given that I'm making a long YouTube video right now, I'm going to do it in Adobe Premiere because I want to show you guys the VHS footage. But generally, I would just do it on my phone. So like I said, you can take these VHS digitized files, just put them on Google Drive or Dropbox, grab them onto your phone, and do the editing on CapCut, or if you have a free software on your phone that you can cut on, or even an iPad if you have an iPad. That way you don't have to pay a subscription for Adobe Premiere or Avid or like Final Cut Pro, like something like that. You know, you can just keep it simple and you're still able to edit it. Now, once you edit it, that's when you can put it back on VHS tape. When you have a full song video, or, you know, you have it, all the scenes cut how you like them with transitions or whatever else, you can throw it back on VHS using the process we just discussed, and then sell it at your merch table at shows, or, you know, just play it in the crib, or just throw it in a box and it's for the archives. That way, if the apocalypse comes and the internet is gone, hey, at least you have your stuff that you made on that tape. So appreciate you guys for watching this, for sticking with me. This is actually like my first long form video where I'm talking. So I would really appreciate if you guys could like, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more in the studio when it comes to YouTube, long form talking. Generally, I usually just make music and short form content. I have like 130, 40 songs up on streaming platforms. But I'm really trying to get more into this sharing with others everything that I've learned, and also continuing to learn every day. I'm a huge YouTube head. I'm a YouTuber, and I just watch a lot of y'all's videos, and it helps me get better. So a lot of what I've learned is from learning on YouTube. So I want to pay it forward and pay it back. So appreciate you guys. Definitely check this out. I'm going to show you the iPhone video, how it looked before. It was like, eh. Then I'm going to show you the VHS video, and let me know what you think of the song. Make sure you go stream the song too. Peace and love. Stay up.
I'd reset my life for you and do things you'd like to do. Go out every night with you and step into this light with you.